Hey, what's up, guys? So, time has come. Share with you guys my post calibration that I got for the Sony X930E. For this display specifically, um, please note that every panel is different. So if you try some of these settings or some of the white balance and it messes up your image or your picture, all you have to do is reset it. But this is what the calibrator came up with the results for what he did. But I did change a couple settings because some of his things seem to be a little bit too dark or too bland for me. Some of the colors are too bland and the image is kind of dark. But I kind of kept his white balance to where it is because it looked like he had a good reading on some of the white balance. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, it's too dark. But anyway, what he did was grayscale, 5-point saturation, another saturation test, a white balance, a gamma, and it looks like another white balance. So it was basically color and white balance he mainly did. I figured I'd do it because this TV is like something else. It's like nothing I ever had before. I might as well go all out and treat it good like a lady. So I met the guy. He doesn't work for Geek Squad or anything like that, but he does have the equipment for calibration. I met him on a forum. I talked to him a couple times and he agreed to do calibration for me. It wasn't too expensive. Yeah, it wasn't too expensive. It wasn't like, oh, empty the bank type of stuff. But at the end result was good to me, honestly. It was like, I did get an enhanced picture. So let me just get into it and try to talk to you about what he did and what he didn't do, or what I changed or whatever. I put on a relaxing video so you guys can just have something to see while I'm talking about what's going on. So let me bring up the menu. Try to focus when the menu pop up. Looks kind of good. Alright, so I did calibrate for Cinema Pro only. So if you do not use Cinema Pro, this video is not for you. Cinema Pro is #1 when it comes to calibration. It's the best preset out there. So if you're gonna calibrate something, keep it on Cinema Pro. So Cinema Pro, it is. Auto picture mode is off. You can have that on if you use Cinema Home, because basically what it does is it determines the source that you put in. Like a video, if you're playing a game, it goes straight to game mode. If you're watching a movie or an app or a TV show, it goes to Cinema Home. But just keep it off if you don't use game mode, or if you do use game mode, keep it on. It automatically switches. Let me go into advanced settings. Oh, another thing, this is 1080p. This is not 4K, so if the screen in the background looks a little blurry, it is 1080p, so sorry about that. That's the only way I could get to talk to you guys more in depth. I have time to talk to you. Alright, so now for brightness. He had brightness at 20, so let's go down to 20. He had brightness at 20. Which is not good for me because I like bright, punchy pictures. Like if you bought a X930 for its brightness, why would you want to diminish that and keep it so low? But that's what he came up with. So if you want to go toe-to-toe with him, keep it at 20. But for me, 20 is too dark. So I'm going to bring it up back to max. For contrast, he had at 90. You can leave it at 90. He kept it at 90 for contrast. Gamma, he had it for -1, but for like content like this, it kind of dimmed the pictures. But he said it's 2.2. Actually, 2.2 gamma is -1, and that's what he based his readings on. which was 2.2 gamma, which is -1 on this TV. What else did he go? Black level. He had it. It's perfect at 48. The reading that he came up with was when you go down to 47. See if I can show you guys. With the 2.2 gamma and a 47, it did kind of crush the blacks, but the reading that he came up with was 48 was the perfect spot. So you want to keep it at 48 for the perfect black level. Now, these things, he had black adjust on off, advanced contrast. He had all of this on off. Don't ask me why he had them on off. I guess that's the way the calibrators do it. But all of these things were off. I don't like that. If I can show you guys how the picture looked when he has all these off. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Because I have all this time to show you. How did it look? So he had it on 90, gamma on -1. This was a good idea. Black level at 48. These things on off. You can tell it looks a little bit dumb. Why can't I touch this? It's not HDR footage, right? Just make sure that's not HDR footage. Yeah. Some apparent reason I can't turn extended dynamic range off. But yeah, that's basically what he had right there. So if you want to write that down, go ahead and write it down. If you want to see what he recommended for the TV to be at, this is basically it right here. Now, when it comes to color, 62 is the max you can go. I kept it at 63 because I need a little bit more, just a little tad more punch to the picture. But 62 is the reference for this TV. It doesn't oversaturate, but it keeps the color right where it's supposed to be. So 62 is the sweet spot for this TV. But like I said, I leave it at 63 on a regular basis. But since I'm doing this little thing for you guys, I'm gonna keep it at 62 just to see what the picture outcome will look like when he's done. He had hue to R3, but it kind of turns the wheel a little bit, the color wheel a little bit. So there's certain colors that it looked a little bit off to me because he did use. Let me show you again. He did use Expert 1. So to him, R3 and Expert 1 is what he had it on, which was the most natural look that he liked, but not to me. But if you guys want to follow what he did, this is it. Hue was -3 and color temperature is on Expert 1. Now, I'm going to go into this a little later in the video because you guys are going to want to write that down. But he also had live color on off. Like I said, a lot of these things I don't agree with, but this is what he came up with. Sharpness, he had this at normal 50. We kept it at 50. And he had reality creation on off. Not auto, but off. He had all of these on off, which is what I agree with him on, keeping all these things off. Motion, he had this on off too. Not even True Cinema, he had it on off. So keep it on off. And he had this Cinemotion on off also. So this is what he considers a reference picture right here. You might not tell the difference because of the camera on the phone, but these are the settings you want to put in your X930E if you want to go by what the calibrator put on this TV. So let me just go through it real quick so you guys can see. You have brightness at 20, contrast at 90, gamma at -1, black level at 48. All these enhancements on off. Color 62, hue R3, color temperature expert 1, and live color off. Clarity, sharpness at 50, reality creation off. Everything else is off. Motion is on off. Center motion is on off. Don't ask me, but if you want precise calibration, that's it. Now let me go into the color real quick. Let me just go on the color. Alright, this is the white balance now. He did mess with the white balance, but he said that the white balance on this TV, well, my display, my panel, was almost perfect. Just slight adjustments. So you're gonna want to get your pen or pause the video and write these down. It's gonna take me a while. But blue gain is on -1. All these are the same. Let's start by the 1. Yeah, sorry about that. I just remembered that he calibrated the color temperature on neutral, but it wasn't expert 1 that he, cause I told him I don't use expert 1. So he did the calibration on neutral. So he had it on -1. And you go to the 1 point, the offset. Well, this is for neutral. This is not for expert 1, so that might be a little confusing, or it might throw off a little bit of the reading that I got from the calibration, because I told him I don't use expert 1, so do not calibrate on expert 1. He told me that's the reference, but I told him I don't use it, so it'll make sense because it's like a piss filter, so I don't want to use it. So do something with neutral and warm. Neutral and warm. I told him I need warm for movies and neutral for everything else. So for the 1 point, red offset is 2, green offset is 4, blue offset is 5. You guys will pause the video if you want. Red off for 2, the red offset is 1, green offset is 2, and blue offset is 1. Now for 3, red offset is 2, green offset is 2, blue offset is 5. For 4, offset is 3, green offset is 3, and blue offset is 4. For 5, offset for red is 0, green is also 0, and blue is 2. For 6, -1 for red, -2 for green, and blue is 2. For 7, red offset is 0, green is -1, and blue is 3. For 8, -1 for the red, -2 for the green, and 2 for the blue. 9, 0 for the red, 0 for the green, 4 for the blue. And the last one, 10, 0 for the red, 0 for the green, 4 for the blue. Now, these adjustments right here was based on my panel, my display. So this is like perfect for my display, but I don't know how it will look on your display. So you can try it if you want. Guys was asking for it, and there they go. That's what I use. And I use neutral for everything else besides movie watching. Now we can see how it looks on his calibration, how the picture looks, and you guys tell me how it looks. I'm gonna make this a 20-minute video, and then my next video will be about movies, the calibration that I have for movies, which is what I told him to really focus on mostly, was the movies. So on the next video, I'm gonna go through the settings for the movies, the calibration for the movies. But yeah, it looks decent. It looks okay to me. It's just too dim for me. I like bright picture. I mean, I paid the money for a bright TV. I want to experience the bright TV. So let me go back in the settings and have the settings that I use, which I think is way better than what he has. But the only good thing I got from him is I learned a couple things, and I got the perfect white balance now. But everything else, I don't like what he did. I kind of put my own twist on it. The brightness for sure was max. The contrast was at 95. I grew to like it at 95, but like I said, I want that pop. So I wouldn't honestly go past 95. But I like it at max, so I'll keep it at max. Gamma, I left it at 0. Now for HDR, now I did bump it up to +1 on HDR. It seems to bring out the whites better when I have it on 1. Black level, the 48, I kept that for him. And the rest of these things are on high, obviously, because I don't know why these things would be off. Especially local dimming. Why would you have that off? Now, let's get out of that. This is my settings when it comes to regular TV watching, or Roku's, or Apple 4Ks, or whatever you guys have. Color, I bumped it up up to one more, 63. Remember, 62 is a reference for him, so I kept it at 63. I took off this red, kept it at 0. Color's at neutral, that should be the same. Live color, I have it on high. Give me the brighter picture, brighter colors. Sharpness, I think I had it at 65, which is +15 on other TVs. Reallocation, had it on manual. This is subjective. You don't have to do it. I just see I like more detail in my stuff that I watch, so I left it at 60. You don't have to if you don't want to. It all depends on what your eyes see, what's detailed and what's oversaturated or too much grain or whatever, too much noise. But for me, 60 is perfect. Let's get out of that. All these other things are off, obviously. Motion, I have this on custom. Smoothest at 3, and Cinemotion on medium. You have less judder. If you want to have soap opera effect without the artifacting around the characters or whatever, keep the smoothest at 3 and the Cinemotion at medium. You get a smoother transaction when it comes to people running or jets flying across the screen and stuff like that. you hardly see any kind of artifacts or anything in that sort. And video option on auto. So this is my calibration right there for